Travel along, Catholic pilgrims, for 1 year as we read through St. Faustina's diary. Join me, Amy Thomas, each day for a short reading out of the diary which brought us a deeper understanding of Christ's divine mercy. Welcome, Catholic pilgrims, to day 329 of our readings from St. Faustina's diary. As we've been reading through these past couple of days, you may be noticing that Sister Faustina is talking a lot about the suffering that she's going through. We have entered into now the year 1938, and this is the year that she does pass away. She passed away on October 5th, 1938. So we still have more than half a year with her still, but her sufferings are really intensifying, and that's mostly what she's writing about. If you remember back earlier in the diary, there was lots of talk about the work of mercy and getting that message out there. And now we're hearing mostly about her suffering. And so that's what we're going to talk about today in Notebook 6, numbers 1633 through 1636. March 10th, 1938. Continuous physical suffering. I am on the cross with Jesus. On one occasion, Mother Superior Irene said to me, "It is a lack of love of neighbor on your part, sister, that you eat something and then you suffer and disturb the others during their night's rest. Yet I know for sure that these pains which occur in my intestines are not at all caused by food. The doctor, probably Dr. Silberg, has said the same thing. These sufferings come from the body itself, or rather are a visitation of the Lord." Nevertheless, after that remark, I resolved to suffer in secret and not to ask for help, because it is of no avail anyway, since I throw up the medicines that are given to me. Many a time I have managed to suffer through attacks that were known only to Jesus. The pains are so violent and severe that they cause me to lose consciousness. When they cause me to faint and I am drenched in cold sweat, then they gradually begin to go away. Sometimes they last 3 hours or more. Oh, my Jesus, may your holy will be done. I accept everything from your hand. If I accept the delights and raptures of love to the point of becoming oblivious to what is going on around me, it is only right that I should accept with love these sufferings which cause me to faint. When the doctor came, I could not go down to the parlor to see him like the other sisters, but asked that he come to my cell, because I could not go down due to a certain difficulty. After a while, he came to the cell, and having examined me, said, "I'll tell everything to the Sister Infirmarian." When the Sister Infirmarian came, after the doctor had left, I told her why I hadn't been able to go down to the parlor, but she gave me to know how very displeased she was. And when I asked, "Sister, what did the doctor say about these pains?" she answered that he had said nothing, that it was nothing, that he had said that the patient was just sulking. And with that, she went off. Then I said to God, "Christ, give me strength and power to suffer. Give to my heart a pure love for this sister." After that, she did not look in on me again for a whole week. But the sufferings returned with great violence and lasted almost the whole night, and it seemed that it would be the end then and there. The superiors decided to approach another doctor, and he ascertained that my condition was serious and said to me, "It will not be possible to return you to good health. We can remedy your condition partially, but complete recovery is out of the question." He prescribed a medicine for the pains, and after I had taken it, the major attacks did not return. "But if you come here, sister, we will try to patch up your health somehow, if that is still possible." The doctor very much wanted me to go there for a treatment. Oh, my Jesus, how strange are your decrees. Jesus orders me to write all this for the consolation of other souls who will often be exposed to similar sufferings. Although I am feeling very weak, I went to see the Dr. Silberg, because that was the superior's will. The sister, who was my companion, was very unhappy about this. She made this known to me several times and finally said, "What are we going to do? I don't have enough money to pay for the cab." I answered nothing. "And what if there is no cab? How are we going to get there? It's such a long way." She said this and many other things just to worry me, because our dear superiors had given us enough money for everything, and we didn't run short. And understanding this whole business within myself, I laughed and told Sister that I was not worried one bit. Let's trust in God. But I saw that my deep peace was getting on her nerves, and so I started to pray for her intention. Back when I was in my maybe early 20s, I was watching a reality show that showcased two very, very rich ladies, young women. One is an heiress to a major, major business corporation, and the other was the daughter of a famous musician. Both of them were just wildly rich. And this show would follow them around as they lived their rich lives. And from time to time, they would have them do things that they didn't normally do. Like one time, I think they had them go work out like on a cow farm for a day or something. And they strutted out on this cow farm in these high designer jeans and these fancy schmancy boots and all this really nice quote unquote cowboy garb. And they just looked kind of ridiculous. And of course, they had never spent a day in their life getting their hands dirty. And so there was lots of squeals and oohs and all that kind of stuff. And they were just so pampered and so, I guess, out of touch with just reality and just living life as a human being. I don't know. It's hard to explain. But as I was watching them, now, at this point in time, I was not really into my faith, but I remember watching them and thinking, man, if I were to like sit down and have coffee with them, there would be so little to talk about with them because they haven't really done anything in their lives to make them grow. So they don't really have anything to share. Their whole life has been just one big pleasure cruise, basically. They've never had to work really hard. They've always gotten whatever they wanted. Everybody's done everything for them. They lack just basic skills on how to take care of themselves, and they're just not interesting people because they haven't done anything. They haven't done anything to make them interesting. Yeah, they got a lot of money, but they haven't grown at all. And it was almost like watching two little girls playing dress up who, just think it's fancy and fun and everything's like a princess. It was like watching that. There was no substance, no real meat there, if you know what I mean. And I felt sorry for them because, not that being rich in and of itself is bad. It's just that they had been denied a life of some struggle, because we do need to struggle in this life if we're ever going to become better than we were yesterday. And they just had been denied that because everything in their life was done in such a way as to make sure that they had maximum pleasure and maximum comfort. And so they had never grown. Now, contrast this to what I experienced the other day. I went to the shrine of St. John Paul II here in the DC area, and there's this fantastic video that you watch before you enter into the museum part. And I was literally crying the whole time. I felt like a big old ball baby, but I was crying because his love and his devotion to Christ is just remarkable. And it starts out showing his life from a young age. And his mother died very young, and he was very close to her. He lost his siblings, and his dad and him were very close. And then he lost his dad, and there was the Nazi occupation in Poland. And there was this one quote from him, and I'm paraphrasing, where he said something like, "I am all alone in this earthly life. Everyone I love is gone." And it just hit me like a ton of bricks. This man literally lost everything. He lost his entire immediate family. He lost freedom from, the Nazis. He had to hide out half the time. And he still found the ability to make his way into the priesthood and become such a fantastic pope. My goodness. He just glowed with divine radiance. It's incredible. And like I said, I was crying the whole time, but I was just so touched by all the suffering that he had went through. God was really working on him, especially at a very young age. But if he had never gone through those things, he would never have been able to relate to the people of the world in the way that he did. He could understand pain and suffering and perseverance and all those things because he had experienced them all. And so he was very relatable to people because they understood the background that he had come from. And so today, when we read through Sister Faustina's writings, we see the same thing. She is suffering so much, and people aren't believing her. And even, her superiors are just kind of doubting that she's really that sick, and, putting some guilt on her about, oh, you're just, trying to get on everybody's nerves. It's a lack of love of neighbor. And even the doctors are, not buying that she's in real pain, just saying that she's sulking. She does have the one doctor today who does believe that she has a serious problem, but she is really, really suffering. And that's what you're going to see up and down through every saint's life. There is suffering there. And they embrace it. They embrace it. They don't grow bitter from it. They just accept it as part of God's plan, and that's how they grow into saints. And that's what we're called to do as well, because we will not grow without the fight and the struggle and the suffering. Just like those two girls I was watching on that reality show, but they were never going to grow into who God made them to be because they didn't know what it was like to actually fight for something and to struggle through something and to find out what they were capable of. And that's just really sad. And I find that in this day and age, we have this mentality that we should strive for maximum pleasure, maximum comfort, avoid suffering at all cost. But we can't do that, because in reality, every single one of us is going to suffer in some way. And so we have to just lean into it, accept it as God's will, and grow from it. And if we do that, it will change us for the better, and it will, we've talked about this before, burn off weakness, and that's what needs to happen in order for us to become saints. So that is all for today, Catholic pilgrims. I will see you back here for day 330. And until then, live the faith boldly and travel well.